مهمان من نویسنده است که به زبان انگلیسی می‌نویسد با آثاری متعدد و اغلب پرفروش و ترجمه شده به زبان‌های مختلف از عبری و روسی گرفته تا کره‌ای. در ایران متولد شده، در اوگاندا بزرگ شده، در بریتانیا و امریکا تحصیل کرده و در کانادا و قبرس و اسرائیل و افریقا کار کرده و حالا در فرانسه استاد زبان انگلیسی است. مهمان من بهیه نخجوانی است، نویسنده‌ای که 3 رمان او خورجین، کاغذ و زنی که بیش از حد مطالعه کرد توجه بسیاری را به خود جلب کرده و این آخری تحسین بسیاری از منتقدان ادبی را برانگیخته است. با این حال فارسی زبانان به ندرت او را میشناسند. چرا؟ بهیه نخجوانی به برنامه به بار دیگر خوش آمدید.
قربون شما، خیلی ممنون.
خانم نخجوانی، من میدونم ممکنه جواب دادن به سوال‌ها به فارسی براتون خود مشکل باشه، درنچه هر وقت که احساس کردید که می‌خواید به انگلیسی صحبت بکنید هیچ مشکلی نیست. مرسی. به انگلیسی جواب بدید.
بله، فارسی من یک کمی لق پلاسیده است. در زیر آفتاب افریقا بزرگ شدم و مثل شوید آب شد و دیگه پلاسیده شد و مرد.
همینجوری که خوب البته خود شکست نفسی می‌کنین، ولی خب به هر حال هر طور که راحتید. خانم نخجوانی، شما چند سالتون بود که از ایران خارج شدید؟
من فقط 3 سالم بود. این اقلاً یه 40 سال قبل از انقلاب فامیل ما از ایران در اومدیم و مهاجر شدیم. باهایی هستیم و این لغت مهاجر برای باهایی‌ها یه معنی دیگه داره. یعنی برای مجبور نبودیم، فرار نکردیم، از عشق رفتیم و با آزادی رفتیم. ولی وقتی که اونجا رفتیم یه وقتی بود که دیگه ایرانی هیچ جا نبود، میدونین، یه وقت دیگه بود، یه زمان دیگه. و در افریقا ما تنها فامیل ایرانی بودیم که در کامپالا زندگی می‌کردیم.
در اوگاندا.
بله.
حالا به هر حال شما الان نویسنده خیلی معتبری هستید، کتاب‌های متعددی نوشتین و بسیاری از اونها هم به زبان‌های مختلف که در مقدمه گفتم ترجمه شدند و خیلی پرفروش هم بودن بسیاری از اونها. ولی خب اصولا شما زبان اصلیتون انگلیسیه، زبان نویسندگیتون انگلیسیه.
بله بله. برای اینکه تحصیلم همینجور بود، اومدم انگلستان، دیگه رفتم دانشگاه، همه چی به انگلیسی بود. منم تحصیلاتم در I've forgotten the word for literature. ادبیات انگلیسی بود و شکسپیر بود و دیگه یه جوری دور شدم از ایران و من فقط یک بار برگشتم. در زمان شاه بود و 19 سالم بود اون وقت و خیلی برای من عجیب بود وقتی که برگشتم. اونجا واقعا حس کردم که من ایرانی هستم یا نه، میدونی، و فهمیدم که فارسی هم خیلی بده دیگه. پیش از این یه جوری با فارسی آشپزی این ور اون ور میرفتم، ولی وقتی که رفتم اونجا حس کردم که من اون اولش وقتی که بچه بودم تنها این ایرانیایی که من ملاقات میکردم بیشترشون باهایی بودن. انقدر من بی فکر بودم و بی فهم که فکر میکردم که اگر در افریقا بیشتر مردم یا افریقایی بودن یا هندی یا انگلیسی، یعنی در ایران باید همه باهایی باشن. انقدر من بیفهم بودم و وقتی که رفتم ایران دیدم که نه، اینجوری نیست و خیلی
همه باهایی نیستیم،
همه باهایی نیستن.
ناامید شدیم. خب شما چرا کتابتون همونطور که گفتم به زبان‌های مختلف حتی کره‌ای و روسی ترجمه شده ولی به فارسی ترجمه نشده؟
کاش که یه روز میشد که به فارسی هم ترجمه بشه، ولی البته دیگه باید به انگلیسی حرف بزنم با اجازه شما. I don't think perhaps the time is right. Maybe it will be. It's a story for the Iranian people. It's not for just everybody. I mean, in a way, طاهره belongs to the world, but she belongs so closely to the Iranian culture and people that I really long for the day when the people of Iran will be able to read about her. There are many things that have been written about her in Persian, but they have many exaggerations. And so we have high praise for her, we have denigration for her. And so the majority of people of Iran either have heard one version or the other extreme, you know. They either think she's a terrible woman and a prostitute and a heretic, or they have turned her into a saint, especially if they come from a Baha'i background.
حالا شما خودتون مسائل طاهره رو مطرح کردین به دلیل اینکه این کتاب آخرتون که زنی که بیش از حد مطالعه می‌کرد در واقع درباره طاهره قرة العین یا فاطمه زرین تاج یا اسامی مختلفی داشته که به هر حال به طاهره قرة العین معروف شده. این کتاب همونطور که گفتم منتقدان ادبی در موردش خیلی خوب نوشتن در مورد شما. آیا برای خودتون هم این کتاب مهمترین کتابتونه؟
Oh, I was a young child growing up, and for me طاهره was the heroine. Other people had film stars and pop stars, but for me she was so brave and so brilliant and eloquent, and I always wished that I could have met her. And very interestingly, really, in the course of my life, I have met some remarkable Iranian ladies, and I have seen fragments of طاهره all through my life, because I think Iranian women are brilliant. I think they are shining stars. We have such heroines in Iran, even today.
ما درباره زنان ایران دوباره برمیگردیم حالا چون سوالی دارم در این مورد از شماها، ولی برگردیم به خود طاهره. یعنی این شخصیت طبیعتاً شخصیت منحصر به فردی بود در زمان خودش، ولی طاهره یک فرد مذهبی بود، حتی عالم مذهبی بود، درس مذهبی خونده بود، خانواده ملا و آیت الله بودن، عموش امام جمعه قزوین بود. ولی با این حال به نظر میرسه که بایستی یک زنی میشد مثل هر زن مذهبی دیگه. شما فکر می‌کنین که این سوالی که در واقع برای همه پیش میاد که این تحول فکری طاهره از کجا منشأ گرفت؟ یعنی چه چیز در زندگی طاهره او رو متحول کرد و آگاه شد به خصوص به مسائل زنان؟
She was, as you say, a great scholar herself, educated as a theologian, raised in a family of theologians. But that also encouraged her to read. And she read so much. She was introduced to the works of Sheikh Ahmad Asai through one of her uncles. And she began to think deeply about the distinction between the Sharia law, the Hadith, and what is in the Quran. She became very cognizant of the difference between these various works, that much of it was accrued through human intervention, through men who were interpreting the sacred word. And I think part of the reason she was in such opposition to her uncle, the eldest uncle, was because it was a family affair too. He was an extremely powerful man in Qazvin, and she was an extremely educated and articulate young woman. He wanted to dominate her, and she wanted to have her voice. So a lot of the tension and energy that came for her thought, I think, was also rooted in her family. It was the tensions within the family. But she was deeply influenced by the writings of Sheikh Ahmad Asai, and then she began to read
Sheikh Ahmad Asai که به اصطلاح رهبر شیخیه بود، یعنی شیخیه بود.
Yes, he was the start of the Sheikhi movement. And then she became the student of Sayyid Kazim Rashti and went to Karbala and studied there. And that was where she first began to read the works of Ali Muhammad, the Bab. And it was through the works of the Bab that she accepted this idea that really we've entered a new phase, that we cannot continue having old laws in a new age. And that's really what made her so opposed to the traditions of her own family and the culture that she came from.
در مورد زندگی طاهره خب همونطور که شما خودتونم گفتین به اصطلاح هم افسانه ساخته شده و هم واقعیت‌هایی وجود داره. مثلا یکی از اونها مسئله اینه که با ناصرالدین شاه ملاقات میکنه و حتی ناصرالدین شاه از او خواستگاری میکنه و در جوابش طاهره شعری میگه که میگه تو و ملک و جاه سکندری، من و رسم و راه قلندری، اگر آن خوش است تو در خوری وگر این بد است مرا سزا. چقدر این واقعیت داره بر اساس تحقیقاتی که شما کردید؟
Such a good question. Really, we have traces of what طاهره said, as well as some of the documents that she wrote, and much of it is authentic as a result of the tradition of passing it down. So we've heard that she has said this. We've heard that, for example, when she was going to be killed, she turned around and said, "You can kill me as soon as you like, but you cannot stop the emancipation of women." Did she really say that? Were those the exact words she said? I have a wonderful uncle who has left a legacy in Persian scholarship, Dr. Amin Banoni. And I asked him this question. He said, you know, if she didn't exactly say those words, she probably said something like that. And I took that as my credo. If a person has said something and it has been passed down through the centuries, you know, through the decades, there's some nugget of truth in it. We just have to distinguish, when we listen to all the other contradictory things that are said about her, how much of this is weighed against the rest. I have a feeling that she must have said something similar to Nasruddin Shah, because we know the facts. She did not enter his harem. She did not become a concubine. She was, however, protected for 3.5 years under the roof of the Kalantar of Tehran. So there must have been some edict that said, you don't have to touch that one. There was some protection granted to her, but at the same time she was quite clear about how far she would go. She did not join the harem. So there must be some element of truth in this.
البته بعضی روایات هم هستش که طاهره بعد از اینکه از خانه کلانتر، محمود کلانتر که همونطور که گفتیم برای نزدیک 3 سال اونجا بود، در بالای پشت بودشون زندگی میکرد و بعد از اونجا و که بردنش به باقی که به هر حال اونجا کشتنش، بعضی از روایات صحبت از این میکنه که این ناصرالدین شاه خبر نداشت.
بله.
یعنی این که اون مایل نبود که کشته بشه، منتها در خفا این کارو کردن. به هر حال تا چند اندازه درسته یا نه. ولی خود طاهره بعد از اینکه با افکار علی محمد باب آشنا میشه و بچه‌هاشو به تحویل خانواده شوهرش میده و خودش سفر میکنه و میره به کربلا و بعدش میره به بغداد و بعد سفرهایی که داشته و این یک استقلال رأی یک زن در اون زمان داشته که خیلی عجیب به نظر میاد، به خصوص اینکه خانواده‌اش هم در اوایل خیلی موافق نبودن با این افکار، حتی با افکار شیخیه آشنا بشه تا چه برسه به باب. این استقلال رأی در اون زمان در طاهره از کجاست؟ از کجا به وجود اومده؟
خیلی عجیبه واقعا. وقتی که فکرشو میکنیم میبینیم چطور شد که انقدر شجاعت داشت، انقدر آزادی فکر داشت که این کارا رو بکنه. ولی مردم مثلا میگن که بچه هاشو ول کرد و رفت. وقتی که فکر میکنین میبینین که این بچه هاشو ول کرد معنیش چیه؟ 2 پسر داشت که 7 ساله بود، یکی 7 سال 9 سال بودن، اینجور سنا. این پسرها در اون زمان زیر بغل پدر بودن. یعنی the mother had no control over them. They were already out of the اندرونی. اون دخترش میگن که با خودش بردنش. حالا did she or not, I don't know. I have relied on my research on the works of really great Persian scholars like Abbas Milani, like Abbas Amonat, like Mujan Momen has done a great deal of research which I have learnt from. And in some of this background material you see that this little girl was with her right through the period of her house arrest in Tehran. So there was a way in which she was acting like a normal woman. She had the daughter with her, the sons were taken away from her. She, after the great occasion in Badasht, she was wearing the veil. This was a symbolic gesture that she was making. She wasn't forever naked-faced after that. یعنی در یه محیطی زندگی میکرد که بنا بود یک کارایی بکنه مثل مردمای دیگه. ولی she had an inner freedom and she had something which when you read about her life you see she was fearless. Now, where did that come from? Where did she get that fearlessness from? And I think that's at the heart of your question. I think really it was because she was so sure that this was a time of change, that these ideas were for the future. There was no question. In the circumstances, obviously, she was opposed to everything around her, but she knew it was not going to be like that forever. There was no way she could change that fact.
شما اشاره کردین به بعدش، جایی که به هر حال اون روبندش رو برداشت و برای اولین بار در تاریخ به هر حال بعد از اسلام ایران این سابقه نداشته. نقش طاهره در بدشت، البته بدشت جایی بود که بعد از اینکه علی محمد باب رو گرفتند و زندانی کردند و عده‌ای از بابی ها در بدشت جمع شدند و در اونجا در واقع یه نوع اعتراضی هم بود به این برای رهایی باب. ولی در اونجا گفته میشه که طاهره در واقع نقش خیلی مؤثری داشته، به شکلی که اونجا سخنرانی میکنه با روی باز و صحبت‌های دیگه‌ای که میکنن. اونجا برای اولین بار طاهره میگه که از این به بعد شریعت اسلام ملغاست و از این به بعد شریعت ما شریعت بابی است. این تا چند اندازه درسته؟
I think this is the critical issue because the conference in Badasht was indeed the break between the community of the Babis at that time that was still partly Muslim in their attitudes and those that realized this is a new period. This must be a different attitude, a different group, a different name even. They identified themselves with the Bab as a new faith, as a new religion. I think there was a difference of aim in this conference. There were some people who had gathered there because they really, I would say deludedly, believed that they were going to somehow or other find a way to free the Bab. This was out of the question. But there were others there, including Qudus, طاهره, and Baha'u'llah himself, who realized this was the moment for a break. And so طاهره played a very important role.
حالا شما اشاره کردین به اینکه در مورد طاهره صحبت‌های فراوانی هست. یکی از مسائلی که مطرح میشه در مورد طاهره این که یکی این که مرگ خودش رو پیش بینی کرده بود که میکشنش گفته بود و دوم اینکه قبل از اینکه برای کشتن از خونه کلانتر ببرنش یک بسته‌ای تحویل زن کلانتر میده که بعد پیش بینی هم میکنه، میگه که ظرف 3 روز آینده یک نفر میاد و این بسته رو از شما میگیره. این هم بخشی از اون افسانه هایی که در مورد طاهره هست یا اینکه واقعیت داره؟
نه، من فکر میکنم واقعیت داره، برای اینکه وقتی که نگاه میکنین به اون زنی که اومد و بعدش هم نگاه میکنین به تاریخ میبینین کی بود، کی میتونست این کار بکنه و چرا میخواست این بقچه رو از خونه در بیاره. I based my whole book on this. I asked myself, why did the wife of the Kalantar deny knowing this woman? And why did Tahire make sure that of all the other things that she had, like rings, like a few precious objects, she didn't care about that. She cared about this bokche. So what was so special to her? What was so special and what was so dangerous? Because if it had remained in the house of the Kalantar, this poor woman would have been in trouble. Because I believe that it contained books. I believed it contained the precious books, the writings of the Bab that she kept. It was more precious to her than jewelry. So she had to make sure it was protected, and she had to make sure the woman, the Kalantar's wife, was also protected. So for those two, if you like, psychological, political reasons, I believe that story. I believe it must have happened like that. And I used it as the inspiration, really, for writing my book.
اوکی. حالا کتاب‌های دیگه شما هم به خصوص 2 تا رمان دیگه‌تون که من پیشتر اسم بردم ازشون، یکیش کاغذ هست و دیگری خورجین. نمیدونم حالا شما ترجمه چیزش به هر حال فکر می‌کنم ترجمه
خورجینه،
که خورجینه دیگه. اینا اولا همه این کتاب‌ها در یک مقطع زمانی خاصی از تاریخ اتفاق میفته که همش همون زمانه و همش هم همزمان با جنبش بابی و مثلا طاهره و غیر و اینا. و به نظر میرسه که شما قبل از اینکه به فکر خلق یک اثر ادبی باشید به فکر این یک تاریخ بابی و بهاییت رو منتشر بکنید.
نه فقط برای بابیا و بهائیا، من فکر میکنم تقریبا این تیکه تاریخ برای ایران مهمه، برای اینکه همه چی عوض شد از وسطای قرن 19 ساله. I mean, how do you say 19th century.
قرن
19. It was a watershed for Iran. It was the meeting between Iran and the West. It was the great conflict between the Russians and the British, with Iran pressed in the middle. It was really the beginning of modernity for Iran. And I think the issues that we are resolving, we're in the process of resolving in Iran today, are directly linked to events and tensions and pressures and challenges that took place in the middle of the 19th century. So I was fascinated by how this crossroads of time coincided with the emergence of the Baha'i faith, but most importantly was the legacy of where we are today in Iran. And I think we have forgotten that we cannot go into the future unless we know our true history. I think we need to learn our history as Iranians. We need to know what happened then. We need to think about why we are living where we are today.
این درسته، ولی صحبت از اینه که شما چرا فقط تمرکز کردین روی به اصطلاح اون مقطعی از تاریخ و اون مسائلی که مطرح می‌کنین که مربوط میشه به جنبش بابی. یعنی خب ایران خلق‌ها و فرهنگ‌های متفاوتی داره. شما میتونید در مورد دیگران هم بنویسین، ولی شما فقط مثل این که یک مأموریتی دارین که اینها رو بنویسین.
That is the one part of Persian history which has been buried. That is precisely why I wanted to talk about it, because we have many great scholars in the world who have spoken about many other subjects, but there is a huge ignorance and denial about the Babi and Baha'i history in Iran. And I think that that story needed to be told. That is a story filled with contradictions. I didn't see myself as a historian. I saw myself as a storyteller, and therefore I took what I could and I brought into a story form a part of Persian history which I think Iranians today need to know, not only about their own history from a political point of view, but their religious history. The fact that there was such an extraordinary woman in Iran, from Qazvin, and that she did such a thing, that there were voices being expressed at that time about the need for breaking with the Sharia law, for seeing religion as a progressive and ongoing extraordinary phenomenon, not as something rigid and stuck in its rut. This happened in Iran. This is something from Persia itself, and it has influenced the world. We talk about human rights today. Where did it come from? We think it's a Western phenomenon. It came from Iran. I mean, really, when you think about it, there were things that took place there within that period of Babi and Baha'i history, which are everywhere in the world today. We're talking about issues of fundamentalism. We're talking about issues of freedom of thought, freedom of conscience. This is rooted to Babi and Baha'i history in Iran in the 19th century. I wanted the Iranians to know that we own
شما
that
فکر می‌کنین
history.
که یه بی‌اعتنایی شده در مورد اون بخشی از تاریخ ایران که مربوط میشه به خصوص به جنبش بابی و بهایی. در نتیجه شما می‌خواید
نه فقط what was the word?
بی‌اعتنایی.
بی‌اعتنایی. ترس بوده.
آها.
It's a point of fear because it's so related to shocking the system, changing the way we think. Whenever there's a huge revolutionary change in human affairs, we have those who are terrified and retract, and those who have the courage to say this is the way we go.
بسیار
So it
خوب.
was
پدر
fear.
شما علی نخجوانی یکی از رهبران اولیه بهایی، یعنی برای 5 دوره من فکر می‌کنم عضو بیت العدل
بیت العدل
بیت العدل که مرکز رهبری بهایی هست بوده و تا چند اندازه شما تحت تأثیر پدرتون بودید توی به اصطلاح اون آثاری که خلق کردین و
But surely
مطالبی که
you
نوشتین.
must understand that I've been fighting my father all my life. If I was really a good daughter, number one, فارسی هم بهتر بود. عربی هم حرف می زدم. I would have been a much better scholar. I would have been a historian. I would have rooted myself in the kind of books that he reads every day. And instead of that, I'm just a چاخان میگم. من هیچی دیگه نمیگم. بی سوادم. So in a way, I was finding my own space. I was not following in his footsteps at all.
بسیار شما اول صحبت از این کردید که زنان ایرانی امروز هم امثال مثلا طاهره یا غیره ممکنه باشن در جامعه ایران. فرد خاصی در نظر دارید که میتونه امروز برای شخصیت مشابه شخصیت طاهره داشته باشه در جامعه ایران؟
Oh, well, I have, like everybody else, listened to the news, watched what's been going on, been so deeply impressed by the courage of people like Nasrin Sotoudeh, people like Shirin Ebadi, so many of these women, and I don't know them all, but I know that many of them are in prison today and have had the courage to stand for their beliefs, have had the open-mindedness to see the relationship between all kinds of oppression, not just one. And I just think they're remarkable. We've got brilliant Nobel Prize winners. They're not in Iran, but they're Persian. So I'm just in awe of the capacity, the courage, the intelligence, the fearlessness. And that's why I think they have a link with طاهره. They are fearless. They see what is right, and they have a broadness of embrace. So it's not a narrow kind of rightness. It's tremendous. It's a lesson to me from outside. I honor them.
بهیه نخجوانی خیلی متشکرم از حضورتون در برنامه به بعد دیگه. ممنون از شما.
خیلی ممنون.